என்ன வேணும் ஒரு சிவில் சர்வெண்டா?
Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 1st November 2023, brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. So mentioned in this slide are the list of the articles which are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. Have a look at it. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. Road accidents up by 12% to 4.6 lakh from last year. That is nearly 19 deaths per hour is happening in India, according to the report being released by Ministry of Road Transport. And how the news is related to UPSC exam is under prelims it is linked with economic as well as social development. Similarly under mains it is related to GS paper 3 economic and development through a topic called infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc. And according to the report, the number of road accidents got increased by 12% compared to the previous year, that is 2021, because the report has been released for 2022, and the total count is 4.6 lakhs. And within the road accidents, we could able to see that the fatalities also got increased, that is from 1.53 lakhs in 2021 to the 1.68 lakhs in 2022. And in the case of road injuries that is happening because of these accidents, it also got increased by a mere 50,000 when compared to the previous year. See, previously it was 3.84 lakh and right now it is 4.43 lakh. And nearly 66.5% of those people who got affected because of this road accident is belong to the age group of 18 to 45, and this 18 to 45 is the most productive period of a human's life. So a person, that is major chunk of those youngsters are getting affected because of those road incidents, means it is huge impact to their family, and at the same time their loss is also huge, will create huge impact to the Indian economy as well. And then nearly 83.4% of those people who got affected because of those road accidents belongs to age group of 18 to 60 years of age. So this 18 to 60 years of age is called the people belonging to this category is considered as the workforce for India. And then out of the 4.6 lakh accidents that is happening in India, nearly 32.9% is happening in national highways, and then 23.1 is happening in state highways, and then 43.9% is happening in the other areas. Similarly, of the fatalities that is happening because of the road accidents, nearly 36.2% is happening in national highways, and then 24.3% is happening in state highways, and then another the remaining 39.4 is happening in other roads. So what is the major cause for the road accident is, first and foremost cause is the speeding. The over speeding of the vehicle is acting as the major threat for the road related accidents. Secondly, reckless driving because of increased private vehicle, and then lack of obeying the lack of compliance with the traffic rules is also acting as a major threat for the accidents. And then drunken driving, and then lack of strict enforcement of those traffic rules is also hindering the reduction of road accidents. So right now the ministry is focusing on the 4 E's. The first E is education, educating the people, those who use vehicle for their daily needs, in that educating in the sense of to have a appropriate road behavior, so that they will be obeying the rules as well as regulations. Secondly, the engineering standards of the vehicles as well as roads need to be realigned in tune with reducing accidents should be realigned, so that the accidents will not be happening because of those roads as well as vehicles. And then the enforcement of the rules as well as regulation need to be strictly followed, so that the personals, those who are involving in the enforcement, need to be trained, they need to be upskilled, and then they need to be adapted with, given trained with the latest technology, so that they could able to enforce those rules and regulation for the reduction of accidents. And then the emergency care also need to be increased, so that the golden period of those people, that is the first 1 hour of the accident is called as golden hour, so that the increased emergency care will be leading to maximum usage of the medical, maximum usage means the medical treatment being given during this golden hour, so that the person's life will be saved. So these are all the 4 E's right now being focused by ministry. So what are all the efforts need to be taken is, there need not need to be taken, what are the efforts being taken by the ministry already is the modernization of transport system, that is the common integrated transport system, clean transport system, and then inclusive transport system, that is the transport system which is accessible for different section of people, like in the case of person with disability, old age people, so on and so forth. And then frequent road safety audit is also being conducted, so that if there is any lacking in terms of the road safety means, then the corrective measures could be taken in between. Then thirdly, strengthening the international collaboration with other countries, so that we could able to learn the best practices that could be adopted in India. So these are all the steps being taken by ministry. So what are the other steps what are the other things need to be studied is, we should know about what is Motor Vehicle Act, what are the important provision of those act. Secondly, we should also be aware of the Radhakrishnan Committee. What does the Radhakrishnan Committee for the road safety is? What recommendation is has given? We should be knowing about it. Thirdly, the Brasilia Declaration on road safety, and then the decade of action on road safety. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of. Every drop counts. So recently the United Nations has released a report, every drop counts, where it has mentioned India. What it has said is that nearly 27 out of the 31 aquifers are getting depleted, as a result of which the future period India will be facing the major water related stress. So what the 2016 Mihir Shah Committee for the water usage has said is that there is little understanding in terms of conserving the river system, and then the connection it has with the aquifers. There is lack of understanding in the policy making itself, which was quoted by the Mihir Shah Committee during 2016. And the same kind of alarming thing is also been quoted by Niti Aayog as well as Central Commission reports, Central Water Commission reports during different period of time. As a result of which, Jal Shakti Ministry has launched Atal Bhujal Yojana in 78 water stressed districts, so that the main aim of those Yojana is to bring the behavioral change of people, so that the water efficiency will get increased. And then recently a report released by Central Groundwater Board, what it has said is that nearly 70% of the groundwater in India is being used for agriculture, domestic as well as the other industrial purpose. So that much of importance the groundwater holds for the India. And then During 2016, the same Mihir Shah committee has said is what it has said is that, see, the tube well and bore well were initially being popularized by the government so that the more number of what there, so that there won't be any kind of water scarcity for producing foods, which will enable us to ensure the food security across India. Once we have reached the food security with the help of those tube wells and bore wells, there need to be a revamp in the institutional mechanisms which need to get innovated so that there will be policies and programs in relation to the water use efficiency in the agriculture sectors. So this is what being quoted by Mihir Shah committee, and there need to be linked. What the other experts are saying is that there is a link between the power subsidy and then the drastic reduction in the groundwater table. For example, in Punjab, where we could able to see the drastic decline of the groundwater table is happening because of increased power subsidy, which need to be corrected. So, and then the climate crisis. Apart from this, the climate crisis is accelerating the drastic reduction in the groundwater table. For example, in southwestern states, the underground is being dominated by major boulders and heavy rocks. This kind of rocks or boulders could not able to hold the waters for longer period of time, so that they'll take more amount of time to get recharged in their aquifers. But because of increased global warming and then increased heat in the surrounding areas, the soil is becoming so dry that it is losing the moisture that is present in the soil, which in turn reduces the speeding of recharging of the aquifers in these southwest states. And then these are all the reason for drastic reduction in the groundwater table. Right now the center is promoting the usage of millets, pulses, so that it will reduces the water usages, most importantly the groundwater usages, because this pulses, millets are water efficient crop, and they could be able to withstand the drought like situation that is happening because of increased erratic climate change that is happening across India. So what need to be done is that the technology need to be adopted so that the farmers or the agriculturalists, those who are using the farms to produce the agricultural products, will be aware of the level of the groundwater, in their land. So in short, what it has mentioned is that using the technology to sensitize the farmers in relation to the groundwater level that is present in his farm. And then institutional innovations, the institutional mechanism need to be revamped, realigned, so that the innovation thing will be introduced into the institutional mechanism itself, which in turn will enable the innovative policy making, innovative program, and then innovation at the implementation level itself. So these are all the things that need to be done. So let's have a quick look into the details of the Central Water Commission, which have been mentioned in this article. It is the technical organization which is an attached office of the Jal Shakti Ministry, whose main function is to initiate, coordinate, as well as consult the state government in relation to the schemes being implemented for reducing floods, reducing droughts, and then promoting the irrigation use efficiency and other things or schemes which is related to water use efficiency. And it is headed by chairman, who is the ex officio secretary to Government of India. So let's have a look into the Central Groundwater Board, which is the other body which is mentioned in this article. It is the national apex organization whose main function is to do survey, exploration, monitoring of development, management, and regulating the country's groundwater resources. And it is established in 1954 under Ministry of Water. Right now this Ministry of Water has been renamed to Ministry of Jal Shakti. And what need to be studied is, you should know about what is national water policy, about river systems in India, and what is the Jal Jeevan mission is about, what is the objective, and what is the current level of implementation of this scheme is about. So these are all the other things which we need to be aware of. What a normal monsoon hides. See, the news is related to the erratic nature of monsoon or the rainfall that is bringing. So, since it is related to monsoon, how the news is linked with the examination is, under prelims it is linked with India as well as world geography, and under mains it is linked with GS paper 1, important geophysical phenomena such as earthquakes, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclones, geographical features and their location changes in critical geographical features. So in the last 8 years, we could able to see that the rainfall that is brought by the monsoon is normal rainfall. So that we could not come to a conclusion that there has been stability in the rainfall during the monsoon season. No, it is not so. When we are looking into the data deeply, we could able to see that there is increased inequality in terms of rainfall across time and also across space. So first we will look at district level. At district level, an analysis by the climate trend, which is the climate related research organization, what it is saying is that nearly 85 out of the 85,000 district rain days in the 718 districts, only 6 were normal, and in that the 60% of the daily district wise rainfall data shows 60% or more than 60% of deficiency in rainfall. This is one part of the city district, and in other part of the district where you could able to see that that district is receiving the daily district wise rainfall data of more than 60 or 60% or more than 60% of the normal rainfall. So on the one hand, certain districts are suffering because of deficiency in rainfall. On the other hand, certain districts are receiving excess amount of their normal rainfall. And it has been, and other data is also what it is saying is that this year has recorded the second largest number of the extreme rainfall event. This extreme rainfall event has compensated the more number of drier period that was prevailed during this period also. As a result of which, if we are seeing the overall quantitative rainfall that is happened during this season, we could able to see that it is same as the case of the last year. But when we are looking into each district wise, we could able to see that certain percentage is receiving, certain percentage of district is receiving less rainfall, certain percentage of district is receiving more number of rainfall. This is at district level. When we are taking the regional level, we could able to see that the northwestern as well as the central parts are receiving more than 100% of their normal rainfall, and in the case of eastern and northeastern part, they are receiving barely 80%, and then the south is receiving nearly 92%. And in the case of east as well as northeast, they have received less normal rain in the 9 out of their 10 years, and then the Kerala this year has received 34% of deficiency in their rainfall. See, the Kerala could able to receive rainfall almost throughout the year, but we could able to see not only this year but for the previous 2 to 3 years there is a declining in the rainfall that is prevailing in prevailed in Kerala. So this is the condition of the rainfall or the monsoon rainfall that has happened in India. So what is the reason for this kind of erratic rainfall is, first and foremost is climate change and the related global warming. Secondly, El Nino phenomenon. So this El Nino phenomenon is also behaving differently, because during 2016, it was the last year when the El Nino phenomenon which affected the main monsoon rainfall in India. During that period, we could able to see the Indian rainfall has suffered a drought year because of the El Nino phenomenon. But this year is also El Nino phenomenon year only, and then the El Nino phenomenon has gathered its momentum. But even though we are receiving the inequality in terms of rainfall, but quantitatively we have received the same amount of rainfall which we used to receive. This year quantitatively India doesn't suffer drought because of this El Nino phenomenon, which shows that the severity of the El Nino phenomena got declined when compared to the previous El Nino phenomena. And then the extended rainfall on the cyclone on the western coast also reduced the incoming of the monsoon wind, which used to come in the southwestern part of India by picking up the moisture in the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea. So these are all the reasons because of which there has been increased erratic nature of the rainfall that happened in this year. So what is the way forward is, there need to be increased disaster preparedness, so that this kind of erratic nature or the seasonality in the rainfall will not be allowed to affect our Indian economic system itself. Secondly, the climate resilient infrastructure need to get enhanced, so that the damage that is happening because of increased climate change disaster will get prevented. Thirdly, there need to be reduction in greenhouse gas emission, so that the carbon footprint could be reduced, which in turn will enable us to mitigate the climate change related impact. So these are all the things which we need to do. So what are all the things which need to be studied further is, we should know about what is monsoon, what is United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change, and then Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of. Fiscal deficit widens to 39% of full year target in April-September. Because of increased fertilizer subsidy and the pickup of the capital expenditure made by the government of India, this 6 month, that is the first half of the year, has witnessed nearly the 39% of the fiscal deficit target being used by the government of India. And then the September saw decline in the fiscal deficit because of the increased revenue happened because of increased corporate tax collection. And then out of this expenditure, nearly out of the total capital expenditure which has been planned throughout the year, 50%, that is 49% of the capital expenditure has happened in the first 6 months of this financial year. And then the interest payment also got raised by 19.1% when compared to the previous year. So this is what the reason why the 39% of the fiscal deficit target, the estimated target, was made in the first 6 months of this financial year. So how the news is related to examination is, under prelims the news is linked with economics as well as social development. Similarly, under mains it is related to GS paper 3, economic and development, under a topic called Indian economy, and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. So since the news is related to fiscal deficit, let's have a look into what is this fiscal deficit is about. The fiscal deficit is nothing but the difference between the government's total expenditure and then the total revenue. That total revenue will exclude the borrowing that has happened from the borrowing that has happened. So this is what is called as fiscal deficit, that is the fiscal requirement for government of India. And what is the advantage, the fiscal deficit? If the fiscal deficit is maintained for certain percentage, means it is very healthy and it will be increasing, it will enhance the employment, and then it will ensure that the capital in expenditure will get enhanced, that is the long term investment will be made, and which in turn will increase the government spending, that commitment of government spending in those capital expenditure. This is what the advantage the fiscal deficit has when it is maintained for the healthy percentage. If it is exceeding that healthy percentage, means then it will suffer a disadvantage because of high debt burden, increased inflation, and then crowding out effect. That is, if the government is going to borrow money from domestic or international arena, means then the space for the private borrowers, then the space for borrowing by the private people will get reduced. So such kind of phenomenon is called as crowding out effect. So this will be happening if the increased fiscal deficit is taking place in an economy units. So this is what the analysis in relation to increased fiscal deficit about is. Secondly, and then what we need to study is, we should know about what is FRBM Act, what is the important target it has fixed, what are the other provisions it has made in relation to the revenue receipts, revenue deficit, as well as the fiscal deficit. Secondly, we should also know about what is this RBI dividend transfer. Thirdly, we should know about what are the other types of deficit that is prevailing in an economy. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of. Southern Peninsula, India sees 6th driest October in 123rd year, that is 60% less rainfall. The Southern Peninsula received deficit rainfall because of the El Nino condition that is prevailing in the equatorial Pacific region, and then the clash of the northeast monsoon as well as cyclone Hamoom that happened in Bangladesh. So during the onset of the northeast monsoon, the southern region will be receiving rainfall, but because of the cyclone Hamoon that is present in Bay of Bengal, it got sucked out all the water vapor that is coming through the northwest monsoon, and it flushed towards the Bangladesh, as a result of which the southern part of peninsula received less amount of rainfall. Okay, how the news is linked with the civil service examination is, under prelims it is linked with the India as well as world geography, and then under mains GS paper 1 under geography topic it is linked with important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. Okay, let's have a look into what the role of monsoon in disturbing the rainfall in southern peninsula is. See, during the period of October month, the southern peninsula will be seeing the withdrawal of southwest monsoon as well as onset of the northeast monsoon. This withdrawal as well as the simultaneous onset of northeast monsoon, this combined activity will be leading to increased rainfall, but this got affected because of the prevailing lower pressure condition in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea ocean, as a result of which the onsetting of the monsoon got affected, which in turn reduces the rainfall in the southern peninsula. And then the El Nino as well as IOD role. IOD means Indian Ocean Dipole. So the positive IOD as well as the El Nino will have negative impact on the monsoon rainfall in India. See, the El Nino coupled with the positive Indian Ocean Dipole is one of the reason for the deficit rainfall in southern peninsula. Right now it is positive IOD only along with the El Nino, and this reduced rainfall not only in southern peninsula but also in northern part of Tamil Nadu, which is used to get rain from the northeastern monsoon. Because of this, the northern part of Tamil Nadu got reduced rainfall, and the nearby and then the significant southern part of Tamil Nadu as well as the Kerala got some amount of rainfall because of this prevailing El Nino as well as IOD phenomenon. If it is not prevailing means, then the whole part of Tamil Nadu would have got rainfall during this period, but because of this prevailing condition, the northern part of Tamil Nadu received deficit in the rainfall, and only the southern part got the maximum amount of rainfall which it used to get. So this is what the role played by the monsoon as well as the El Nino and then the IOD phenomenon to the monsoon of India in the last 4 months. So this is what the explanation of the news is, and what we need to study is we should know about what is the El Nino phenomenon and then what is Indian Ocean dipole is. Secondly, we should also know about what is monsoon, and then we should also know about the structure, function and objective of Indian Meteorological Department. Okay, let's have a look into today's practice prelims question. So mentioned here are the today's practice prelims question. I want those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. Okay, with this we have reached the end of today's session. So thank you, and please do like, comment, share as well as subscribe to the Ganesh AS YouTube channel. Thank you.